What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 6th installment of Pooley's Picks. We have our guy back, Steve Keller, and this week our topic was problems with the college recruiting process, issues that I see a lot, and we took a player and parent perspective here, kind of things that we hear a lot, and we see that maybe people aren't doing it exactly the right way. We jumped into 10 different things, and on the show with me, those of you guys that don't know, is Steve Keller. Steve, really good to have you. Steve is the director of the National Recruiting Report, has over 300 Division I, II, and III schools that subscribe to his service, and is known for, at a lot of our events, giving information and Q&As with parents about the college recruiting process. So, Steve, what do you think?
I think your presentation's good. I think your list of stuff is good. I think you're hitting on a subject that a lot of parents and kids don't realize how many mistakes they make or how many things they're concerned about that they don't need to be concerned about.
I agree. And the reason why we brought Steve on today, obviously, is there's probably not many people that are more of an expert in this than Steve. Like I said, he runs through a lot of Q&A sessions at our events with parents. Steve, can you give us a couple things or one or two of the main things that maybe I don't have on this list that are things that you see parents doing a lot that maybe they're not doing it exactly the right way, or maybe they have some incorrect information?
Well, I think off of your list, one of the things that I didn't see much talk about was the fact that kids and parents worry too much about where they're ranked, where the player worries about where he's ranked, or the parents worry about where people are ranking him. So many people in today's world rank kids that the information is almost so many times it's just useless. And to be all caught up in that, sometimes we say kids spend too much time on the internet trying to find out what they're ranked instead of spending more time on the treadmill getting in better shape. and so rankings are really of hardly any value, and no matter what anybody says, they're not that valuable, and they're almost useless once you get down to being just in the first couple grades of high school or grammar school.
That is the thing. It is cool to look at, and I think we all kind of fall victim to it at times. You look on a page to see where one kid's ranked versus another kid, and you see a freshman who's ranked 8th in their state. That doesn't mean anything.
Because again, it's not where you start; it's where you finish. And one thing that you have to remember is no matter where you are ranked, or no matter where somebody has you, and you can be ranked with one guy 3rd in the state and somebody else 50th in the state, and there's no real way to tell which guy is right. I mean, some people have better track records, obviously, and they're the ones that tend to, be the experts, the real experts in the business. But no kid can ever take even his final ranking in the spring of his high school year and then walk in the first day of practice, hand it to his coach, and say, "Coach, look here, there's where I was ranked, so now I guess you realize that I'm one of your starters, right, because of where I was ranked." The only person there's only a couple people that matter with your ranking or your ability, let's put it that way, and one is yourself and how hard you continue to play, and second, the only person that matters is that head coach that you're eventually going to play for, and he doesn't care who ranked you where. He's interested in what you're going to do from him starting when you start practice for him on day one. And so people that get caught up in rankings and think that, well, this means I've made it or this means I haven't made it. Every year we see tons of kids that are either overranked or underranked, and they go on to college and have tremendous careers, or they go on and just don't make it. And in the end, their ranking meant nothing.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And the one thing I like to touch on with this is a lot of parents will say, I've seen my kid play. I know he's better than these people. But the thing that I think parents need to remember a little bit is a lot of the people that are involved in the recruiting process, specifically college coaches, they do this full time. They wake up on Monday morning and they put on their suit and tie and they go to work to recruit kids, to find good fits for their college, and to coach those guys once they're there. Whereas a parent, player, they have a lot of other things going on. I mean, most of these parents have jobs that they're going to, and they watch their kid play. They watch them play 2 or 3 times a week, and that's the only basketball that they see. If your kid is getting recruited to a certain level, it doesn't necessarily mean it is the perfect level for him, but if he's been to the right amount of events and he's been to the right events with the right team in the right situations, a lot of the times the level you're getting recruited at is very close to where you'll end up. And whether the rankings say something different, if you can look at, at the end of your junior year or going into your senior year, what schools are actively recruiting you, more often than not, that's a good barometer of where you should be.
Yeah, there's another saying that water seeks its own level, and eventually, where the people are that are recruiting you, and we're the ones that are interested in you, and we're the ones that are calling you on the phone and want to follow up with you and want you to make sure that you follow up with them, and they want to talk to your parents, they want to get your grades, they want to have you visit their school. That's usually 95% of the time the level that you're being recruited at, and this stuff that my son is like underexposed or being missed, that's so rare that you shouldn't take it into consideration.
Okay. Well, Steve, thanks for coming on the show. I think that there's a lot more on this topic that we'll dive into, as we move forward. I'd love to have you back.
One of the other biggest pieces of this is, again, I also tell parents all the time, and kids, they should recruit schools harder than they want the schools to recruit them. You got to remember, Division 3, 2, and 1 have rules that they have to follow to recruit a student athlete. For the student athlete and the parents, there are no rules. They can do whatever they want, and they need to look at this as their son's first job. And if they look at it as their first job and you're looking for a job, what do you do to get a job? You don't sit back and wait for the phone to ring. You go out, you put a resume together, and then you make all the contact. The parents and the player can do anything. They can contact the coaches. They can write to the coaches. They can email them. They can do everything, and they should. They shouldn't wait for the college coach to control the situation. They should attempt to take more action and control of the situation.
Yeah, and for you players at home and parents, obviously, you're looking for a job, you have a resume, you're looking for the right college fit. Your resume is what your schedule is, what events that they can see you at, what your high school team's doing. It's game tape of yourself. A lot of guys are using highlight tapes these days. Highlight tapes are good to get kind of noticed quickly, but game tapes is still the currency of what college coaches are using and looking at. Full game tapes of you with your high school or AAU team and up-to-date game tapes. Also, get on your social media accounts. Change your voicemail. Your voicemail should be your name. No jokes, no games on there. Shouldn't just be a number. When a college coach calls you, they should know who they're getting. Update all that stuff, and then reach out to the schools and present them with something that's clean and easy to read and easy to view so that they can evaluate you. Some of those schools may not like you. Some of the schools that you're reaching out to, they may not be a good fit, but you got to reach out to as many schools that you would like to attend as possible to give yourself the best chance. When we're recruiting somebody for a job, if they're actively interested in that job, it's somebody that we look at a little bit harder.
Yeah, you have to control the things that you can control. You can control how hard you work. You can control where you go. You can control your academics, and don't worry about the things that you can control how hard you go after college coaches. And don't worry about the things you can't control. What all the other people in this internet world are saying about you. You can't worry about that, and so control the things you can, and don't worry about the things you can't.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, it's really all about what you do on the floor and in the classroom. So if you can take care of those two things, it takes care of a lot of these problems on their own. So, Steve, thanks a lot for coming on the show. We look forward to having you back next week.
Again, thank you.